Hello, everyone. This is your host Sabrina from Augmedix People Team. I hope all of you are staying, maintaining all the social distancing, wearing masks, and wash your hands frequently because COVID-19 has been spreading, due to this winter a lot. So hope you are being cautious about that. And today is gonna be the last session of our 3 days webinar. আমরা আজকে কথা বলবো ইন্টারভিউ এটিকেট নিয়ে এবং সেটার জন্য আমাদের সাথে আছে খুবই স্পেশাল একজন গেস্ট। আমাদের সাথে আছে সুতাপা ভট্টাচার্য আপু। উনি হচ্ছে অ্যাসোসিয়েট প্রফেসর আমাদের ইনস্টিটিউট অফ বিজনেস অ্যাডমিনিস্ট্রেশন আইবিএ, যেটা অ্যাকচুয়ালি প্রাচ্যের হার্ভার্ড হিসাবে পরিচিত। তো আপুকে অনেক ধন্যবাদ আমাদের এই সেশনে জয়েন করার জন্য, আমাদের ইউথদের জন্য কিছু বলার জন্য। থ্যাংক ইউ সুতাপা আপু ফর জয়নিং আস। আই উড লাইক টু ওয়েলকাম ইউ বিহাফ অফ দ্য হোল অগমেডিক্স টিম। অফ কোর্স উই আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড ইউ হ্যাভ আ ভেরি বিজি স্কেজুয়াল, বাট স্টিল আপনি আমাদের ইউথদের জন্য যে সময়টা বের করেছেন সেটার জন্য অনেক ধন্যবাদ। তো এখন সরাসরি চলে যাব সুতাপা আপুর কাছে, যে আপু আপনি যদি ইন্টারভিউ এটিকেট নিয়ে ফার্স্টে আমাদের ইউথদের জন্য কিছু বলতেন তাহলে।
Okay, thank you very much, Sabrina. Thank you, Augmedix team, and hello, participants. Because it's a webinar, I actually cannot see the participants for real. And as Sabrina was telling, during this pandemic, we all are maintaining the physical distances and having all the health maintenance. So let's start. Whenever we talk about interview etiquette or going for an interview, the first thing, I believe that you are all convinced that you want a job, right? You want to do a job. You are not an entrepreneur. Probably you wanted to do something. You had something in your mind, but eventually you landed on the plan that I want a job. Perfect. So before the interview, what you want to do or what you need to do. So I'm assuming that you already have a call for an interview from any organization. It can be from any industry. The first thing what you need to do. First thing you have to do is preparing yourself. And trust me one thing, I have been sitting in the interview boards for more than a decade. It's almost 1.5 decades now. And the first thing which the interview board notices is the preparedness. In fact, for anything else, I'm assuming that you people already have an undergraduate degree or a graduate degree. During your presentations in your university, during any other thing, the first thing you cannot hide is whether you are prepared or not. And what does preparation mean? If you are a fresher, you must know about your subject area. You must know about yourself. People ask you, why do you need a job? And you give a rehearsed answer. And I really don't mind that you actually wrote something on your own and you wanted to give that answer. Preparation always matters, but do not come up with a script, because when you are giving a scripted answer for the first question, like introduce yourself, why do you want the job, and you give a very scripted answer, and then the interview board asks the second question based on your first answer, and it's really clumsy, unprepared, then the whole thing loses its, the main intention, the objective. So prepare yourself, tell yourself that you are going to get a job, and tell yourself that no one else is going to give you a job because you need the job or you need some money. People will hire you because they have to be convinced that you are good for the job. You can serve them. I mean, will you hire anyone else on a charity basis? No, you can help someone for a lunch. You can help someone for something else, but people will hire you because you can do the job. So learn the job. Second thing is doing your homework. What does that mean? That means knowing about the business. Say, for example, the organization which is hosting this program, Augmedix, you have got a call from this organization. Go do some homework. When did they start? What are their main businesses? What kind of industry do they operate in? If it is IT industry, it has its own issues and obstacles and opportunities. Probably you have got a call from a bank. Then go for the banking industry. How many banks are out there? You got a call from a tourism company, you got a call from a restaurant, you got a call from a university. You have to know about the industry. You have to show people that you actually want to do the job. That is your homework. You have to know about the business itself. You have to know about the pros and cons, the opportunities and challenges of the industry, and you have to know the current scenario. What's the contribution towards the GDP? What kind of competition do you face? And then if you are a fresher, which I was telling just a few minutes earlier, if you are a fresher, people cannot ask you about your previous job. People will ask you about your study area. And I personally have seen this so many times that people are coming from a very good background. We are asking them a very basic question, the person cannot answer. And that is so frustrating. There are two sides. One, you can graduate from a very prestigious institution, from a branded department. People will have sky high expectation from you. So that will be one type of challenge. You have to be very well prepared. But on the other hand, you can come from a very humble background, almost a very, shall I say, university people are not much aware of. People will have, it's to some extent, the silver lining. People will not have a lot of expectations, so you can actually make them impressed by your knowledge. But whatever the case, you have to ensure you know about certain things. Yes, there will be no one asks you about definitions and theories in the interview board, but when you tell them a completely wrong answer, if you are an economics graduate and you do not know what's the difference between GDP and GNP, the interview board will almost have a heart attack there. So you have to know the basics. So that is before the interview. These are the things you can do. Then comes the interview day. On the very day, you will go for can you please change the slide? So the very interview day, it's obvious that you will be nervous. A little bit nervous is actually good. That means you are normal, you are rational. You are actually, you are having a little faster heartbeats that you want a job. But please remember, it's just a job. So be a little nervous, it's okay. But do not make it an issue. Do not have a panic attack like I'm not eating from the morning, I'm like missing things, I'm forgetting stuff. Don't do that. Breathe slowly and tell yourself, whatever you know, you are going to give your best. Then you have to look presentable. This is really, really important. And we have a misconception that looking presentable is probably very expensive. Absolutely no. You have to ensure that if you're a boy, that you have very well-groomed hair. To be very frank with you, the world is changing. People are coming with tattoos and becoming the CEOs, and probably they have a ponytail and they have all the piercing all over their face. But trust me, if you are living in Bangladesh, you have to follow the norm of this country. Do not come up with the examples which are exceptions here, right? People are not ready to see you with, use a brush, get a good haircut, the regular ones. You know what I mean. If you have beard, it has to be well trimmed. If you do not have beard, be clearly shaved, clean shaved. And we live in a country, we live in a city which is not merciful to everyone else. I have met people in the interview board who came to the interview board without being shaved, and they told me they live in a mess and there was no water from last night. And I felt so terribly sorry for them. But you know what? These are the realities. When you are living in your reality, you just cannot give this excuse in the interview board. You have to find out another option, like you have to make it happen the day before interview, right? You have to ensure that your shirt is ironed, the pair of trousers you are wearing, that is creased, your shoes are clean, right? That you have to do. And for the girls, you really cannot wear a lot of jewelry. And there are two groups. One group look like they will straight away they will go to a wedding party after this interview board. And then there is another group, they are coming out of the kitchen, and there is no in between. And you have to look presentable, comb your hair, look clean. Looking clean is really important. If you know that you smell a little bit because of sweating, use deodorant, use perfume, that's perfectly all right. But you have to look presentable, clean, not expensive. No one is looking for your expensive clothes. People know you are a student, a fresher, you will buy things later. It's absolutely okay. And keep enough time. Living in this city, right now, we are all staying home. But during the normal time, and if we expect the vaccine to be out in next few months, we will go back to our previous normal life. Have time. I mean, don't tell people I'm coming from Mirpur to Motichil. Don't tell people I'm coming from Ajimpur to Uttara. I mean, no one cares. You knew that you have an interview today, so you should have started early. You should have had the time in your hand. You cannot be late. I mean, take my example today. I joined this session at 2:48, I believe, because the session was supposed to start at 3. The organizer group, they told me to be a little early. So I kept the word. I mean, there can be technical issues. Even if you are sitting at home and you have an online interview, have 2 backups, have mobile data, your Wi-Fi can be timed out. So what will you do? You should have your backup. You know it's a scheduled interview, and then you have to ensure that there is no noise around. So these are the things you have to do. And then the interview board comes in place. Can you please change the slide? So be yourself. Be prepared self. I mean, be yourself, because of all the motivational speakers out there. They tell us to be ourselves without grooming ourselves. No, you have to groom yourself. If the true self is not presentable, is not ready for the job market, work on this. Talk slowly, be humble, have the attitude to learn to take criticism. Do not follow blindly all the things people are saying outside. So you go to the board. People usually sitting in the interview board, they actually usually are knowledgeable about certain things. They know about the candidates in most of the cases, that this boy or girl sitting in the board is a fresher, will be nervous. Usually people do not scare you. People offer water. People tell you to breathe. We tell people to breathe. It's okay. We are not going to eat you up. We are not bad people. So we are not a mafia gang. We are good people. So we will ask questions. We will just check if you are good for this job, and then we will either offer or we will give you another suggestion to go for another try to another organization. That's the whole thing. So be yourself and never ever try to outsmart the board. I mean, people come and people somehow think if they lie, people will not be able to understand this. You know what? There are people who try to be over smart in the board and then try to outsmart the interviewers. And the interviewers intentionally put a plot so that you can be trapped. They ask you a question which does not have any base, and you usually say, yes, this happens. So no, this does not happen. And people are absolutely sure that you are not aware of certain things and you are trying to pretend. Don't pretend. You may not know everything. You have to tell, I do not know this. I can tell you that I can learn. And then there are people who actually try to show that they are the best candidate. Why are the best? Because they made some good scores in university and all. I believe the answer should be genuine. Why do you want the job? A lot of people I heard, they tell their dream is to work for a bank from their childhood. I mean, we all wanted to be fuchkawala and like pilot and like whatever. And they wanted to be banker. Who wants to be a banker? Who wants to be an IT engineer at the age of 11? No one. So do not come up with these answers. Be yourself, that I am looking for jobs. I'm applying everywhere. This is a good sector, going to give me a good career. And I'm trying for this. And I like these things. I mean, you do not like everything. Some people like numbers. Some people like social work. Some people like technical stuffs. So some things give you some sort of pleasure and feeling of accomplishment. And that's why you apply for certain jobs. So those are the things. You should be yourself, honest. You should make the board convinced that you are not a wrong person. You may not be the best fit for the job, but you are not a wrong person for the organization. So these are the fundamental things you should remember. So I believe these are the very basic things I have covered. So if Sabrina has other questions, she can ask me.
Thank you, Sutapa. I think you actually put the real picture that we HR professional face every day, and খুব রিয়েলিস্টিক কিন্তু আমাদের উদাহরণ, আপনার উদাহরণগুলো ছিল যেগুলোর সাথে আমরা আসলে রিলেট করতে পারি যে হ্যাঁ এই জিনিসগুলো আমাদের সাথে হয় আমরা যখন ইন্টারভিউ বোর্ডে বসি অথবা যখন একটা কল করি অ্যাপ্লিকেন্টকে। সো দিজ আর অ্যাকচুয়ালি ভেরি ফ্রিকুয়েন্টলি হ্যাপেন্স ওভার হিয়ার ইন দ্য এইচআর ওয়ার্ল্ড, রিক্রুটমেন্ট ওয়ার্ল্ডে যেটা হয়। তো আমি শিওর যে আপনার এই সাজেশনগুলো আমাদের যারা ভিউয়ার্স আছে, ফ্রেশ গ্র্যাজুয়েট আছে, যারা জব খুঁজছে তাদের জন্য অনেক হেল্পফুল হবে, বিকজ দিস ইজ দ্য রিয়েল সিনারিও গাইস। দিস ইজ নট দ্য থিওরি ফ্রম বুকস, অফকোর্স এটা থিওরিটিক্যাল কোনো নলেজ আমরা দিচ্ছি না, দিস ইজ দ্য অ্যাকচুয়াল সিনারিও, দিস ইজ হোয়াট happens every other day. So thank you সুতপা আপু। আমরা অনেকগুলো কোয়েশ্চেনই আসলে রিসিভ করেছি আমাদের ভিউয়ার্সদের থেকে, সবগুলো হয়তো কভার করা আমাদের জন্য সম্ভব হবে না। সো মোস্ট অফ দ্য কোয়েশ্চেন অলরেডি কিন্তু সুতপা আপু তার স্লাইডের মাধ্যমে আমাদেরকে জানিয়ে দিয়েছে। সো আমি গোনা রিকোয়েস্ট যে যাদের এই রিলেটেড কোয়েশ্চেন ছিল প্লিজ মেক শিওর ইউ ভিউ দ্যাট। আর একটা যেটা ছিল যে সুতপা আপু, আমি আমার ফার্স্ট কোয়েশ্চেনে আপনার কাছে জানতে চাচ্ছিলাম যে আমাদের বলা হয় যে ফার্স্ট ইমপ্রেশন ইজ রিয়েলি রিয়েলি ইম্পর্টেন্ট ইন এনি ইন্টারভিউ। সো what do you think about that?
Well, first impression is really important, but I believe that if the interviewee is coming prepared, the person, the boy or the girl, is not being too much of nervous, not having too much of nervousness or not being too reluctant, the sitting posture, the making eye contact, these things are important. But for the interviewers, I will definitely tell. In fact, theoretically, you have just mentioned theoretical things. Theoretically, focusing just on the first impression can be an interview error. I personally have met people who are coming in a room with completely flashed face because they are so nervous, and when we offered them a glass of water, requested them to just loosen their tie, breathe, and that the real person came out in a minute. So this happens. Sometimes people will impress you in the first 10 seconds and it can be a very wrong impression, and sometimes it can be a very true impression. But for the interviewees, I will definitely tell, take preparation. Take some preparation in front of the mirror. Try some conversation with your friend or your teacher if possible, or somewhere else. So preparation never hurts. If you are prepared, you will be able to make a good first impression.
Definitely. I totally agree with you on that, that taking a little bit of preparation, if you're doing the homework and you understand what exactly that organization does and what role actually they are offering, that actually work as a point plus one in your resume, that you're well prepared, you understand their business, you can talk about that. আরেকটা যেটা আপু আমি আস্ক করতে আছিলাম আপনাকে, সেটা হচ্ছে যে বডি ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ। আমরা যখন ইন্টারভিউ শুরু করি আপু, আমি শিওর আপনি এটা ফেস করেছেন, আমিও এটা অনেক দেখেছি আপু, যে বডি ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজের, অনেকের বডি ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ একটু ডিফারেন্ট হয়ে যায়। তো এটার ক্ষেত্রে আপনি কি বলতে আছেন, মানে এটার কতটুকু ইম্প্যাক্ট ইন্টারভিউয়ারের উপরে পড়ে? আর ইন্টারভিউরা যে মানে ইন্টারভিউ দিতে যারা আসে আর কি, তারা আই থিঙ্ক নার্ভাসনেস থেকে হোক অথবা যে কোনো কারণে হোক, মাঝে মাঝে খুব অদ্ভুত একটা বডি ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ আমরা দেখতে পাই। তো এই ব্যাপারে যদি আপনি একটু বলতেন আপু।
ওকে, সো ইন্টারভিউর সময় যেটা আমি ডেফিনেটলি সাজেস্ট করব, আপনি ভদ্রভাবে বসবেন। মানে ভদ্র ইন আ সেন্স যে একটা চেয়ারে আমরা যেভাবে বসি, you have to sit in you must have your proper posture, that you are sitting straight. You are not putting your hands on the table, on the interview table. You are not going to, shall I say, shake your legs or anything else. And for men, you really, all of you have to sit in the proper way, shall I say, feet on the floor, sitting straight, keeping your hands on your lap. If you have a file, carrying that in a smart way, making eye contacts, do not do shrugs. These type of things, you never do that. Do not, there are people, they sometimes forget that they are in an interview board. Do not poke your nose, of course, never. Do not eat your nails. Do not do these things. These are so very basic. I'm sure people will tell that why should I need to learn it from you? I know it. And you know what? The most important things in life are usually very basic, and that's why we forget them. They are so part of our hobby. So actually work on your hobby as well. Be a presentable person, just not for an interview board, as a whole, that you do not do things ever. So you do not need to take preparation all the way, right? And ensure that your nails are clean, because you will put your finger somewhere, or they can ask you to write something and you are bringing out your nails like this, like Chandni Chowker Dokandar. Don't do this thing.
থ্যাংক ইউ আপু, আই থিঙ্ক দিস আর রিয়েলি হেল্পফুল। আরেকটা জিনিস যেটা আমরা স্টার্ট করি ইন দ্য বিগিনিং অফ দ্য ইন্টারভিউতে, আই এম শিওর আপু ইউল এগ্রি উইথ মি, যে ইন্ট্রোডিউস ইউর সেলফ অর টেল আস সামথিং অ্যাবাউট ইউর সেলফ। সো এই একটা কোয়েশ্চেন আই থিঙ্ক এভরিওয়ার, যে পজিশনই হোক, ফ্রেশার হোক অথবা আমরা যদি একটু মিড লেভেলেও হায়ার করি, এটা কিন্তু আমাদের ফার্স্ট অলওয়েজ স্টার্টিং কোয়েশ্চেন থাকে। সো আপু, এটা নিয়ে কিন্তু অনেক তর্ক বিতর্ক আছে যে কি ইনফরমেশন আসলে অ্যাড করব, কি ইনফরমেশন আমরা এলিমিনেট করব, এটা সম্পর্কে আপু যদি আপনি একটু বলতেন আমাদের ভিউয়ার্সদের জন্য।
From my experience, I saw that we really do not want an answer which is more than 30 seconds long. It's too long. So tell your name. If you are a fresher, the university you graduated from. If you want to talk about your area, that I'm from this area, say for example, I'm from Chittagong. You really don't have to talk a lot about that you were selected for the PSC exam and you are a golden GPA in class 5. You really don't have to. People have your CV already. If they ask, go for it. And you really do not have to talk about your family things, that how many siblings do you have, what does your father do. It's about you, your education, what kind of job you are looking for, your strengths and weaknesses, max. That's enough. But personally, I have seen in the government sector, some people want to know about your family. So you can ask them, Jasad, do I tell you in detail about my family? If they give you permission, go ahead. Otherwise, keep it to about yourself and make it really precise. And you can tell them that if you want to know more about this, so you can ask me, I will answer.
অ্যাবসলিউটলি। আপু, আরেকটা জিনিস যেটা হয় যে আমরা কিন্তু অনেক সময় দেখি যে যারা ইন্টারভিউ দিতে আসে, আমাদের যে অ্যাপ্লিকেন্টরা স্পেশালি, ওরা খুব কনফিউজড হয়ে যায় যখন কোনো কোয়েশ্চেন অ্যান্সার জানে না। দে আর লাইক অল অফ আ সাডেন ব্ল্যাঙ্ক আউট এবং ইয়েস নো নাথিং। লট অফ টাইম যেটা হয়, আমি এটা দেখেছি, আমি শিওর আপনি আমার সাথে এগ্রি করবেন আপু, যে দে স্টার্ট টকিং অ্যাবাউট সামথিং দ্যাট ইজ নট ইভেন রিলেভেন্ট উইথ দ্যাট কোয়েশ্চেন। আই থিঙ্ক out of nervousness they do it. But what should be a better answer if someone doesn't know the answer to that particular question? তাহলে এটার জন্য আসলে একটা প্রপার জিনিস কি হবে যেটা ইন্টারভিউয়ারের ক্ষেত্রে একটা নেগেটিভ ইমপ্যাক্ট যাতে অ্যাপ্লিকেন্টের জন্য না হয়?
Well, if it depends on the question as well. Sometimes we just forget some very well-known thing. So for example, it's because of nervousness. Probably you're a finance graduate, someone asked you about cost of capital and you could not answer. You are an HR major and I'm asking about 360-degree feedback and you are giving a blank look. Yes, definitely, if you do not know this, the interview board will be a little upset. But you may forget things. You can tell that, I don't know, suddenly I cannot remember this. Never, never try to outsmart the board. Never give a wrong answer. And don't ever tell that amader eta teacher poray nai. I mean, never tell these things. People will be really upset that how come people are giving. Yeah, because people give us this kind of answer. Eta amaderke porano hoy nai. Like, it's impossible that this course will be over. Ebong in this era, even if your teacher did not teach you this, it's your job to learn things. I mean, in university, it's very different from primary section. You really cannot expect your teacher to solve all the maths in the classroom. You have to study. You are looking for the jobs. Your teacher is not. So you have to ensure that you are not, if you forget things, just tell them, I cannot remember this. Try, and if you have if you know that you are very close, okay, give an overall idea, but do not come up with a fairy tale of your own that you are giving a completely wrong answer. আমাদের একজন টিচার ছিলেন, খুব ছোট বয়সে উনি আমাদেরকে একটা জিনিস শিখিয়েছিলেন যে তুমি যদি একটা গরু না চিনো, তুমি বলবা যে আমি চিনি না, কিন্তু তুমি যখন একটা গাধাকে দেখায় বলো যে এটা একটা গরু, তার মানে তুমি গরুও চিনো না, গাধাও চিনো না। So you are giving more wrong information. Do not do that. So that's the thing.
অ্যাবসলিউটলি আপু। আরেকটা যেটা আই থিঙ্ক আমরা ফ্রেশাররা খুব স্ট্রাগল করি, আমি এই কোয়েশ্চেনটার আগে আরেকটা কোয়েশ্চেন নিব, এটা আমরা লাইভ থেকে রিসিভ করেছি জহিরুল ভুইয়া থেকে। হাউ শুড উই অ্যান্সার কোয়েশ্চেন লাইক টেল আস সামথিং নট ইন ইউর সিভি? অ্যাকচুয়ালি আপু, আই উড লাইক টু অ্যাড, আমার ফার্স্ট ইন্টারভিউতে দিস ইজ হোয়াট বিন আস্কড টু মি, যে টেল আস সামথিং অ্যাবাউট ইউর সেলফ হুইচ ইজ নট ইন ইউর রেজিউমে। সো এইটার অ্যান্সারটা আসলে কি হবে আপু?
Because this is my favorite question. I ask these questions most frequently. I'm wondering if this Zahirul Bhuiya, he met me somewhere or not. Well, if this is the question, the answer is very simple. I don't know, but it cannot be something like, ami khub ghumate bhalobashi. It cannot be an answer like this. It has to be something probably you did not tell. You cannot write in your CV that if I get an opportunity, I will do something for this society. See, let me tell you one thing. We are living in an era we all try to impress others. We are not the kind of, we are not sane. I know people who are pet people, right? They can die for a dog or a cat. I'm not that big of a pet person. Just because it's a trend, pretend to be that and give some information or answer in an interview board will be the most, shall I say, it's the wrongest possible thing you can do. So if you ask me what should be the answer should be like, I was not very punctual at one point of time. I worked on it and now I have made it. Definitely, you should not tell something a big limitation of yours that should not be revealed this way. But if your small achievement you have done that, আমি সময় মেনটেন করতে পারতাম না এখন আমি পারি, আমার বই পড়ার অভ্যাস ছিল না এখন আমি পড়ি, একটা সময় আমি খুব সহজে আমার I used to lose temper, I worked on it and I am a cool person now. I can handle things. I can plan things. I have learned to plan things. I like to plan things. Anything can be the answer, but the answer should be a real true picture of yours. You should not pick these things from us. যে উনি এটা বলেছে উনি বাগান ভালোবাসে আমিও বাগান ভালোবাসি, না বাবা আমি বাগান ভালোবাসি না, আমি পাবজি গেম খেলতে ভালোবাসি, কিন্তু এটা বলা যাবে না অবশ্যই। সো আপনাকে হয়তো বলতে হবে যে আই এম লার্নিং টু ইউটিলাইজ মাই টাইম প্রপারলি। দ্যাটস হাউ।
এক্স্যাক্টলি, আমি টোটালি এগ্রি উইথ ইউ আপু। আরেকটা যেটা আই থিঙ্ক স্ট্রাগল আমাদের ফ্রেশ গ্রাজুয়েটদের হয়, সেটা হচ্ছে যে স্যালারি নেগোসিয়েশন কিভাবে করব। অনেক আমরা যেটা বুঝি যে অফকোর্স আপু একটা ফ্রেশারকে যখন আমরা অনবোর্ড করি, দে হ্যাভ টু গো থ্রু সার্টেন ট্রেনিংস, জবটাও বুঝা যে হাউ টু ডু দেয়ার ওয়ার্ক, এন্ড ফর দ্য ফার্স্ট টাইম দে ডোন্ট হ্যাভ আ ফ্যাকাল্টি, দে হ্যাভ আ লাইন ম্যানেজার, সো লট অফ চেঞ্জেস, স্পেসিফিক স্কেজুয়ালে অফিসে আসা, অফিস থেকে যাওয়া। সো এই সব কিছু কনসিডার করেও দে হ্যাভ নো ক্লু হাউ টু ডু দ্য স্যালারি নেগোসিয়েশন। দ্যাট স্টিল রিমেইনস আ বিগ ডিল ফর অল দ্য ফ্রেশার্স আউট দেয়ার। সো এই সম্পর্কে যদি আপু আপনি একটু কিছু বলতেন।
I personally believe this is a real struggle for freshers. I will definitely request the organizations not to do this with the freshers. They should have a salary scale. Because if you are hiring 3 people and among those 3 people, 2 really do not know much about it and whatever salary they've been offered, they took it, and the third person, he actually is good at it and he made it better. And eventually it will be revealed. Salaries are never confidential, officially confidential. Practically everyone knows everyone's salary. And that is not the best thing to happen. But for the freshers, for them, what I will tell, do some homework in the industry and never settle for something which is not worth giving the time. Right. Say, for example, if your total cost will be like 20K per month and you are getting a job offer with 22K, I'm not sure if you should say yes, unless this is the only thing you have in mind. The only job you have that you need an exposure. So it actually depends. In negotiation, there is a term BATNA, BATNA. It's a widely used term everywhere. You can just check that whenever you are sitting for a negotiation, for a salary negotiation, you have to ensure that you are not rejecting something that eventually you will settle for even less, or you are not accepting something which is not worth giving your time. So there is no such practical amount that this is the right amount to say yes or no to. It always depends on the kind of business you are in, the skill level you have acquired, the other opportunities are out there you have, the opportunity cost you will have, and then you will make a choice.
থ্যাংক ইউ আপু। আমরা অলমোস্ট কিন্তু শেষ পর্যায়ে চলে এসেছি আমাদের আজকের ওয়েবিনারের। একটা কোশ্চেন আমি দেখলাম আমরা বোধহয় লাইভ থেকে রিসিভ করেছি যে মেয়েদের জন্য ড্রেস কোড কি হওয়া উচিত, সাজেশনস অ্যাবাউট দ্য ড্রেস কোড ফর আ গার্ল পার্সপেক্টিভ অফ বাংলাদেশ। সো এটা নিয়ে যদি আপনি একটু বলতেন।
You can wear 3 types of attire. One is the universal office casual, corporate look jetake bole. You can wear trousers. In our country, skirts are not very well accepted everywhere, so you can wear trousers, shirt, a jacket, okay? Or you can wear shari, or you can wear kameez. So whatever you wear, I always suggest to pick up the fabric properly. If you wear a kameez, ensure that your dupatta is pinned up, because if you are handling your dupatta in your interview board, it can be a clumsy thing for yourself, right? You are handling your bag, your, shall I say, the file, and then you are having a problem with your dupatta, that should be the issue. Even if you are wearing a shari, I will suggest it should be cotton. There are lots of, I mean, I'm considering from a very middle class background that you are a girl, you do not have a lot of money, you want to go for an interview with a decent look, so you can just buy a tangail tat, and you can wear like one color blouse with this, pair the shari with a one color blouse with this, the solid color blouse. Just keep your hair combed and wear a small pair of tops, and that's all. It should be good enough. Or light lipstick, that should be good enough. You are wearing kameez, again the same things should be good enough. I mean, people will just look at the cleanliness and how presentable you are, and definitely choose the color accordingly. I mean, there are certain colors which are really loud, like red, deep royal blue. These type of colors are not very good for the interview boards. I mean, they are very nice colors. I'm wearing red right now, but not red, it's like
Maroon. Maroon. You're looking very pretty.
yeah, but in an interview board, but I'm wearing a white kameez actually, but because I'm wearing my cardigan. But anyway, the whole thing is, it should not be very loud. You should not make anyone else feel like it's not comfortable for eyes or something else. So ensure that you are maintaining this.
No, nothing too flashy, I guess. So I think these are very realistic. So we have a comment, I think, from Zahirul. Thank you, ma'am. Yes, you took my interview in IBA and also classes for HRMC course. I think he's the guy who asked that, tell me something about apart from the CV. So he wanted to thank you. Thank you to Zahir for, viewing our show, watching our show and our webinar. Thank you so much for asking questions. So I think আজকে আমরা যে জিনিসগুলো সুতা পাপড় থেকে জানতে পারলাম, these are very realistic, right? খুব বেসিক জিনিসপত্র। আমরা এখনো কিছু কোশ্চেন দেখতে পাচ্ছি, বাট অলমোস্ট আমরা লাস্ট পর্যায়ে চলে এসেছি। অ্যাকচুয়ালি উই আর ওভার টাইম। আপু, আমরা কি একটা লাস্ট কোশ্চেন নিতে পারি এখন? জাস্ট লাস্ট ওয়ান লাস্ট কোশ্চেন। আচ্ছা, what should a candidate do in a situation like when a candidate says that interviewers are not much satisfied with all the answer he or she was answered, মানে যে অ্যানসার গুলো দিয়েছে তা নিয়ে স্যাটিসফাই না? In that case, কি হতে পারে?
I really don't think you have much to do. You have given your answers. You cannot say you just can't do that. And how do you know people are not satisfied? Usually, I mean, people are sitting in the interview boards, they just wear some shields. Probably they are smiling at you and thank you very much, and the moment you left, reject. They have decided. And there can be people that drilled you like hell and you left and they're like, you saw the candidate, she's the best, we are going to take it. You just never know. So you don't have to worry about the right answers. If it is very specific information based answer, and if you suddenly remember that you gave a wrong answer, you want to make it correct, you can just sir, I remembered this, ma'am, I remembered this is the answer. That's enough. Otherwise, don't bother about it. And let me tell one more thing I just forgot. Keep your cell phone turned off, or at least turn off the sound when you are entering an interview board. Ensure that you are doing that, because all on a sudden there will be a call from somewhere and it's a distraction and people will not be very happy. So turn off your cell phone and give all your answers, whatever you felt correct, and do not allow this hangover to be on you before the next interview. Hey, আমি কি বলে আসলাম, এটা বললে ভালো হতো। Rather, I mean, please have a notebook if necessary, যে এই উত্তরটা দিয়েছিলাম, এই উত্তরটা বোধহয় এভাবে দিলে ভালো হতো, এই কথাটা এইভাবে বললে একটু পজিটিভ শোনাতো। এটা যদি তোমার মনে হয়, প্লিজ রাইট ইট ডাউন and learn it. I mean, do not brood on what already had happened. You cannot change the past. All you can do to make the future better. So focus that.
Thank you, Apu. Thank you so much, for giving us the time and answering all the questions. Thank you, viewers, for watching our 3-day consecutive webinar. And Sutapa, I'm now become a really big fan of you. I really hope that I can do that HRNC course under you. I'm looking forward to that. So whenever there's a next opportunity, I'm looking forward to get into that. But thank you so much on behalf of the whole Augmedix team. Thank you so much, for attending our webinar. It was really nice having you here. And for the viewers, please stay, very cautious due to the weather, due to there are different kinds of vaccine that is working and not working. So all you have to do, make sure you maintain social distancing and wear a mask, right, whenever you are out. Even
I give just one answer. One person asked a
please,
question. I believe it's a very
please.
important one. That if someone getting rejected a lot in the interviews, what changes? So you have to find out what goes wrong. Is it that you are missing all the questions coming from your subject area? Is it because when you are sitting in an interview board, is it the dress up which is very different from others? Is it the way you talk? Is it the facial expression you make if you are being criticized? Say for example, আপনি বললেন আপনি খুব হার্ড ওয়ার্কার, আমি বললাম আপনার সিজিপিএ তো 2.8, হার্ড ওয়ার্কার তো সিজিপিএ এটা হওয়ার কথা না। এটা শোনার সাথে সাথে আপনার ভুরু কুচকায় গেল, এটা আমি দেখলাম যে এই কথা শুনে ভুরু কুচকায় ওরা দিয়ে তো কাজ করানো যাবে না। এইটা এসব কিনা, you just you have to dig in deep in yourself that what goes wrong. You ask others, what do you think? Is there any problem in my attitude? Is there any problem in my pronunciation? Because there is nothing in this world that which you cannot fix. If you work on it, it will be fixed. So yeah, thank you. Sorry,
Absolutely,
Sabrina.
absolutely. No, please. Thank you so much. I mean, we have already extended the time. We're over the time already.
Yeah.
These are very helpful tips. I truly believe that, people who are looking out for a job these days due to pandemic, they're a little bit demotivated because this is the worst year to be graduate. I agree with that, when the global business is falling and everything. So please use these tips, prepare yourself. You need feedback. If you get rejected from a company, still ask the HR that, what are the things I can improve for my next interview. I'm sure there are very helpful people out there who'd like to help you. So for now, thank you, Sutapa and our viewers. Maybe next time Augmedix will come up with something new for you to help our youth with everything. And in order to know what are the opportunities Augmedix is providing, do visit our website. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sutapa, once again.
Thank you, everyone.